All right, guys. Did you both mute yourself?
Yeah, yeah. You want to
Okay.
talk first, or I mean, it's your channel, so I would guess so.
Oh, no, it's whatever.
All right. Okay, so we on?
Yeah, we're on right now.
Okay, you can go ahead, man.
All right, guys. Name is Fatty Black. This is the first BAIO STEMish live stream. I don't know if this has happened beforehand, but we're just gonna talk about like the name of the live stream is called STEM and its relation to nationhood.
Mm.
So for me, I'll go first. Like my background, I'm an IT technician. Currently, I work at WNET, or New York natives would know like the channels 13 and WLIW, and recently acquired NJTV. So like all of the like Arthur and stuff like that, like
Yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
cartoons. Yeah, so I work for the company that makes those cartoons, those educational
Uh-huh.
cartoons. So A plus and Net plus certified, but my current position right now is help desk, trying to get out of that shit because that shit is boring.
Hey, I'm in the same situation, bro. I do the same job.
It is so boring. Cause like I feel like I'm overqualified at it, and I'm doing stuff that's pretty much beneath my skill set. So
Yeah,
it's like, but I haven't had a full year of IT work. So like next March, like this coming March, it'll be a full year. But that's me. What about you guys?
all right, I'll go ahead. Logos here. For y'all that don't know, that means logic. But my background is in visual effects and motion graphics, so basically media, film. Went to school for that, got a bachelor's in it. I'm looking to go back for actually a master's so I can get really deep in the field and have the film thing down packed in the front of the camera and in post production. Currently, I work in IT. I do help desk as well for a software company that builds software for a little bit of medical billing. Um, they used to make software for the military, so I actually work with the military too for a little bit, and they make software for first responders as well. So if there's a problem with any of those software suites, people call me, and I got to try to figure out what the problem is. Look at the logs. It's a bunch of stuff. I got to call different teams. I'm basically the go in between guys between the guys in the server and the guys in the dev, and I got to try to like work with everybody and make it come together. It's stressful, but I learned a lot. So now I know in the IT as well, and basically, I'm just trying to develop the media wing of the BAIO. So if anybody's involved, if you do drawing or any type of graphics, I'm your guy to holler at.
Okay. What about you, Complex?
Yeah. Well, my name is Bradley, aka Complex Sin. My background is in electrical. I don't think that counts as STEM, but I tried doing electrical engineering, computer engineering, all that stuff. As I said, I kind of got stopped at the physics calculus part, so I went to electrical school. Just graduated last month and started working on the oil rig as an electrician, doing construction on oil rigs and all that stuff. So what I always wanted to do though was I'm a big gamer, so I always wanted to be in the gaming space doing gaming design, programming and stuff like that. But it never got to happen. So I took another route and I'm also dealing with real estate, trying to get enough money to deal with investments to invest into STEM components as dealing in hardware and production and all that stuff. So I've kind of been researching that heavily and trying to get back into getting a STEM skill set under my belt, under the electrical belt also. So that's currently where I am and where I'm going.
Okay. Well, you are in the STEM field, electrical engineering. That's technology.
Yeah,
So
well, I'm an electrical, just an electrician basically.
yeah, that's still
Yeah.
STEM. That's
Okay.
cool. You know voltages and stuff, and what needs like you know the amount of voltages to power something.
Yeah. All the
So
voltages, ohms, amps, all that stuff.
yeah, they kind of taught that when I was in my trade school, per scholas.
Mhm.
They told us that because really for the motherboard. So like you would like use a multimeter to test to see if that port on the motherboard is actually working or not. So they told us a little bit of electrician work with that.
Okay.
They even told us how we could pretty much turn on the PC without using the button. Like they took like a little like a paper clip or something like
Oh
that,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah. The
taped
switch,
it. Yeah, they
switch.
taped it, and then there's like you put the paper clip touching these two pins, and it'll automatically start the computer. I'm like, oh shit. I mean, honestly, at that point, you should just get a new motherboard, but hey, or a new case. But all right, so I've been encountering like this because I've been off this whole holiday, like pretty much like the school holiday, because my job they pretty much they do this every year. They give everybody um the complete holidays off. So this whole week I've just been home. I'm supposed to be reading my Security Plus book, but I haven't done that. I might do that once we're done with the stream. But but I've been encountering a lot of concerning comments when it regards technology or anything that was related to technology. So I know you guys saw last week how in New York City, I actually witnessed it, but there was pretty much a transformer that exploded.
Yeah, the blue
And
light.
it was a breakage.
Oh yeah.
So instantly, the conspiracy theories was coming out the fucking floodgates with that, right? I haven't caught my mom because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm telling her, I'm like, honestly, I don't know what the fuck is going on right now. This shit look weird. I'm just letting you know because she was out with my sisters. So like, I don't know what's going on right now. I'm just wanting to let you know that there's some weird shit going on right now. Everything's blue or bluish, right?
Yeah.
So my old manager, she actually, it was actually funny because I called her to see because I know she lives in one of the buildings in my sister she lives not too far. So she was telling me that her sister recorded it because they're in a high-rise building. So she recorded like the actual sensor of the light and sent it to me. So I'm like, oh shit. I'm like there's just raw electricity. So the reason why, right? I found out by actual electricians and people that work for Con Ed, right? The reason why it was looking crazy like that, because one, it was very cloudy that night. So the light was pretty much being enhanced by the clouds. Because if you know, like if you guys drive, you know how like when it's foggy out, they tell you to use like your lamps so you can see farther.
Low beam.
Yeah, instead of using your high beams, because your high beams is going to be pretty much directly in front of you. You can't see shit. So it was pretty much the same instance, but just with raw electricity. So,
Hey, as soon as I seen that, I said, "Man, here come the crazy New York dudes talking about the aliens and coming back."
Exactly, or the Blue Beam Project and shit. I'm like, whatever. Mind you, right? There's other accounts of people that actually live like directly next to it, standing in front of it, recording it. I mean, they're ballsy. But they're looking at it and recording it, and people still like, oh no, that's not what it is. It's a conspiracy. I'm like, all right, whatever. So speaking on that, right, with the other witness accounts that's directly in front of them, some spiritual chick, right? Fucking, she goes and says, actually, let me look at right now Instagram. Let me go and read the comments because I want you guys to like know word for word what she fucking said about this. But give me 1 second, because I'm like, you gotta be a fucking idiot. Okay. So first I told her what it was, because she at this point nobody knew what the hell was happening. So I did like a mass amount of research. I actually even called Hall up because I know he deals with power too. So I wanted to make sure that he was fine and make sure he wasn't in the vicinity, because they were saying it was an explosion. So when it really wasn't, like more so like a break, and everybody was just seeing the raw electricity come out of it. So I'm explaining to her what happened, and she says, "Nah, it wasn't. You can continue to believe that though, right?" So I responded because I have nothing better else to do, right? So I'm like, there's legit videos from people uh that live in the area recording it, but cool, right? And she said there are legit. This is where it gets very concerning, right? So she says there are legit videos of NASA's rockets hitting the dome above us and falling back down, never making it to space like they say they do. And real people that went missing and were hurt because of the release. So
That's
yeah,
crazy.
cool. So I said hitting the domes above us in quotations. Wow, this is why we need STEM taught in the black community. So we don't have ignorant speech like this. But I'm like, I'll be on my way and I wish you the best of luck on your journey. So what she was pretty much saying is what these fucking flat earth people be fucking saying, that we live in a fucking dome. So I'm like, okay, so this is where it gets a little conflicting with people with that ideology. Because first you believe in satellites and shit, right? But at the same time, we live in a dome. So how far does this dome go out? Like how far is it like what is the limit of the sky pretty much? So that was just one thing I saw today, and I was just like really just concerned, and I'm like, this is like STEM needs to really be taught, because this right now is being frowned upon most people, and it's not, and it's concerning when it comes to the future, because people are already concerned about losing jobs to automation and quote unquote, for lack of a better term, robots, but they can easily still get be working people if they just learn that skill to then do maintenance for that robot or to create that code for the automation. So, but that was just my bit for the week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those.
that's terrible. Go ahead, bro.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. Well, these people, I know the people you're talking about. I usually talk to them every day, almost, and um, I just simply kind of ignore the stuff that they're saying because especially in the black community, because it's not really them that's perpetuating all of this talk. It's mostly I see white people doing it more often, but black people were never taught these skills of computer programming and
Hmm.
engineering and all this other stuff. So there's no one around to teach the younger people, hey, you can do this, you can do that. They only think about, hey, you need to get a job here, go get a job at this little factory and make some
Yeah,
money and do all this stuff. They didn't. So that's all I wanted to say on that. But
like I'm actually looking at the chat right now. What's up, Kylo? I don't know if you're still here. What's up, Jamal? What's up, Bell? Oh, what's up, Borny? La la. Yeah, you actually follow me on Instagram. Actually, that's one thing I will say about the icon. Since I'm on Instagram, I noticed I've been getting a lot more people following me based on like the logo itself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I actually told Hole up recently how like 2 weeks ago, because I think I commented on Dynast on the picture that Dynast put right in the
Hmm.
post, and I said something, and then somebody DM'd me saying, "Hey, I seen that logo before on Dynast channel." But he's like, I don't really know what it is. I think he was talking about Kala, because I know Kala's been on Dynast channel a lot recently. So, but it's just cool. It's like seeing that the connections.
Yeah, we all over social media.
Yeah.
Back to that thing you said with the STEM and not having jobs. When I grew up, man, a lot of times it was like Big said, like you slinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. Like the technology in the STEM was just it was looked down upon. It was like you're a nerd if
Yeah.
you do that. But low key, now that I gotten older, I see a lot of the dudes that I was hanging with, even though they was in the streets, they was low key nerds. Like they love computers, they love the X-Men, but it was just never backed. It was always taught that this is like late 90s, we had to be hard, we had to be thugs. And that was, like you said, it was just never taught to us.
Yeah.
But the field is huge. Like I'm in IT right now, and there's so many jobs. There's jobs on top of jobs on top of jobs. And to be honest, if you quote unquote minority or a woman, they really want you in there. So it's definitely there's definitely a ladder in there. But I'll say one other thing about it. I don't know if y'all noticed it, but like I'm in there with a lot of the nerds, the IT guys. There's a lot of racism in there.
Oh, please, bro. I know. Fucking, I'm in New York, so there's this white Dominican dude that I work with. He lets niggas slip every once in a while, and every time he talks to me specifically, like when they say we're like by ourselves or when our manager is not there within the room, for a lack of a better term, this man starts talking with a black scent.
Mm-hmm.
And as he claims, because I guess because he lived in Harlem his whole life, like he grew up there. And it's just like I'm looking at him like, yo, bro, like you're not talking like this throughout the day. I'm not talking like this.
They don't know. They're not around a lot of black people. So whenever they talk to you, they gotta do what they seen on TV.
But this particular dude, he grew up in Harlem. So I'm like, yeah, he's like 30, so he definitely grew up around a lot of black people. But he's a white Dominican dude. But you know, here in New York, I wouldn't even say here in New York. I think just fucking nationally or even globally, when we see somebody white that speaks like Spanish, we automatically just cast them out as like different people, as I like to call them, spicy white. So. So I'm just looking at him, I'm like, yo, bro, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why are you talking to me like this? Just why? Like, why? But the few times he let niggas slip up, I was like, I can't turn up because it's like I'll fuck my career up if I do.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like I gotta just hold that, even though I'll be very fucking upset. I just gotta hold that shit. Well, I could report him, but again, it would just be worse on my end because one, I'm new.
Yeah.
So it's like most likely gonna take his side because he's been there with the company for 10 years. So
nah, you don't want to do that, man. I was talking about this with somebody else, man. It's anybody who's black, male or female, working in corporate America. It's like the Hunger Games. That goes for IT and the business part, and just corporate America. It's rough out there, man. And HR ain't your friend, and sadly, the other black people in the office ain't your friend either.
Yeah, the black dude is his manager there. He was saying some suspect shit. He was talking about a fucking Sanford, like Sanford's son.
Yeah,
he was talking about how Red Fox was a quote unquote racist because of the stuff that he said on the show.
Oh, is he all lives matter? Is he all lives matter Negro?
I don't know. I really don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. He be saying a lot of suspect stuff, bro. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Watch him. Man.
Yeah, once he said that, I'm like looking at him. I'm like, I was fucking with you, and now he said that. I'm like, and then he said it to my manager, which is white. I'm like, I don't know, bro.
When I'm on the job, I just do what I gotta do and bounce.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I try to do. I just try to keep to myself. Like I'll be on Netflix, I'll be on Netflix, or I'll just look at YouTube live streams of like if Dynas is on, or I don't know if you guys know this guy on YouTube. He goes by Everybody Hates Angel.
Yeah.
If he's on, I watch his live. I join his live stream, just watch it. Or I'll just look at like old Breakfast Club interviews, stuff like that. So, I try, but sometimes I talk to them sometimes because they all watch like the DC shows, so like we'll talk about stuff like that, like our theories on the shows and like episodes and the future of the shows and stuff like that. So, but most of the time I just try to just keep to myself. If they need me to do something like go like do like a workstation move or set up a workstation and go up and do that ASAP. They do some imaging and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. A lot of imaging and fixing hardware, a lot of that stuff. But black tech is actually huge. I just dropped it in our Discord. Hashtag black tech, hashtag black tech.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And I didn't even notice. Once it flew up in my feed. Once I found out and I got in there, I'm like, man, we got a lot of people in tech. And we got some people, like I seen their skills. Like the one dude, he was like an engineer at Apple. And I guess that fell out. He said he came in to work with his do-rag on, and they sent him home. We be going through it everywhere, but man, we've got
Kevin with silky. That's crazy.
Yeah. If I wish I was there, I'd have told him, bro, you can't do that. But we got the people. They try to push it to we're all thugs and we all we do is play basketball or football or an athlete. That's great, but we got the people. We got the people in STEM. We've got a ton of people in STEM nationally. But the thing is, they're all spread out, state to state, a few here, and there's always that one or two dudes in the company. Now, one or two black dudes in the company. That's how they spread it out, or one or two black ladies in the company, in IT here and there.
Yeah, I'll say like out of like all the black people in my field, like in just the whole IT department, outside of just help desk, it's probably not even probably. It's legit just 3 people. It's me, the manager of a specific section of IT, and one of his coworkers, one of his employees, and that's it.
That's why when I think about dealing with, that's why when I think about dealing with STEM, that's why I always want to come from an investment point of view and invest into the people with the skills and start a firm to, let's say, build computer parts. And we're developing computer parts and all, and so on and so on, instead of just being a worker.
Yeah, my goal, I want to do this like if I like at 30 or around 30. I want to start up a program where we just start teaching the kids like pretty much what I learned, but it won't be like as intense, and try to at least get them certified for the A+. Get certified as a kid, so it'll be like ingrained in their head by the time they adults. I don't know how to deal with this, troubleshoot certain situations within the house and stuff like that. So I just gotta just see how that goes, and I gotta just build up my skill set as well as be able to articulate that as well to a child, or not even just like a small child, just like probably like a teenager too, like probably like anything from like probably like 6 to probably like 14 or something like that. Yeah, Kyla, that's the thing, right? So, like, I've been like, because I don't know if you guys saw Holop's last live stream yesterday, how pretty much 2019 we're gonna try to like really push this nationhood narrative, because it's getting real dangerous out here with other people. Pretty much, and either they're not talking about the solution of nationhood, or they find an excuse for nationhood. Like just now, I was watching. I don't know if you guys know this guy, Yurima Karama. I don't know if you heard of him. Yeah,
that sounds familiar.
You probably seen a video of him from somebody else. But just now, I kept telling him like this, because honestly, bro, like it's to the point that it's like so clear. I'm so glad I found a BAIO, bro. Like, because like when everything happens, the easy solution is legit nationhood. And then when you say that, there's like it's this instant defensiveness, as Kyle just said. Like it's crazy. So like I'm telling him and other people in the chat, like if we had our own fucking nation, this wouldn't be a problem. Right? And then what kills me is that they use excuses, like they use not excuses, but they use examples of Arabs and Asians and shit. And I'm like looking at my screen like, yo, am I the crazy one? Because I'm like, you're using these people as an example and leaving out a key part to why they're able to move how they move within this country. And that's because they all have a home country backing them, so they're able to do these things. We're pretty much nationless, and you're trying to do all the shit that people that have nations like are doing without a base of operation. I don't understand that. I don't see the correlation what they're not getting by that. So then he was reading the comments, and he said I get where you're coming from, because I was on my new channel that I made pretty much for BAIO stuff. So he was saying like I get what you're saying, but at this point, we got to do something. Like if we're gonna die, he's pretty much like if we're gonna die, we might as well fight. I'm like, so you just want to die and not. You're not gaining anything because you're gonna fight, die.
Let me take you back right off that. Yeah, because I just thought about that. What I always, before I came to the BAIO, what I always thought is like that Black Panther mindset. We need a state here for ourselves, and that doesn't. Once I thought about it logically, that doesn't make any sense, because we'll still be right next door to these people, and they'll be poisoning and not even their military, just some run of the mill redneck crazy asshole is gonna poison the water supply or try to come through just because they're sick in the head. We need two things. We need to get away from them, and we need to be with people who look like us. The people in the next place over look like us. Dark skin, curly hair.
Yeah.
And people were sitting here trying to push this thing of let's have a race war. Yeah. What are we gonna win? All right, let's say we do and we get our own state. Or let's say, you know what? I do have the utmost respect, and I know that my people could fight. I've seen what we did in World War I, World War II, Vietnam. We're a race of warriors. We just don't know it. It's all in our head. Let's say we do. We start blowing up stuff in the United States, and no, seriously, and they bring their military back home. All right, we just became public enemy #1 of the United States. We helped out the Chinese. We helped out the Russians. And what are they going to do for us? Nothing. And how is Africa still partly in shambles and being ran by Europeans in the Western Hemisphere of Africa, and in the Eastern Hemisphere being ran by Chinese? And then we got these guys with a straight cannon aimed at us, the United States. That makes no sense. That's our pride talking to us. We need to be on African soil.
I wouldn't even say that's pride. Honestly, that just sounds fucking illogical and stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not logos. Yeah, it's not logical. And that's why I came with the thing, man. You got to use logic. We need to be somewhere with people who look like us.
The funny thing is when they no, go ahead.
No, go ahead, jump in.
I was gonna say the funny thing is with like these kill whitey Negroes, right? Mm-hmm. Like when they bring up Killmonger, right? It's like again, this is the same shit I just mentioned earlier. They just leave out a key point. This man fought to be king of a nation to then send out supplies to the diaspora. He didn't just magically come up with weapons and supplies out his ass. He planned that shit out.
I agree. I agree with Killmonger's premise. I just don't agree with his implementation. I mean,
well, they had to write him like that.
Exactly, and they did that on purpose to scare Africans, and that's where the media thing comes in. Let me jump in on that.
Go on that.
If you look on Dynasty Channel, one of his was about one of the videos he recently did is about should African Americans have their own nation, and you got Africans in the comment section tripping. I mean, and that's what they think we're going to come back like this Killmonger thing. So two things about that: African Americans, it's not just the Northern African Americans. We're talking about everybody, the Caribbeans, the Brazilians. They need a way to get back home and a stress there. And the only thing I say about that is for immigration policy, just like America, you got to have a skill. You can't just jump in there, just got to have a skill. As long as you got a skill, you can come there. Or you can come there on looking for an education. But our media presence, what we have to control the image of the Black person. Because right now, around the entire world, we're seeing our women are seen as whores, for lack of a better word, and our men are seen as brutes. And we know we've been through so much pain here. It's ridiculous. Our women has been raped over and over and over again, and then they got the nerve to call her a whore. And I'm a brute, but I look in history books and I see men that look like me being hung on trees, being whipped, being castrated, and they've taken the narrative and shaped it. Then I'm a thug and a brute.
Yep.
So we got to take that over, and it's our fault. It's our fault for losing our music to them. We don't even sing no more. I mean, the fact that Black people don't sing, you really can't name a Black R&B artist. The Weeknd and Drake. That's it. We used to back in the early '90s, man. That New Jack swag. I came up on that, man. I was in elementary, but I came up on that. And if you look in the videos, you see the Chinese and the Koreans. That's what they're doing now, doing the R&B thing that we started. They're doing it, and we don't even make that. Rap music. I mean, there was always a violent section of it, a dark section of hip hop. But on the other end of the spectrum, we had the light side of it. We had KRS-One, Cannabis, the Wu-Tang Clan. We had intelligent people where you could say, hey, look at this. You might say rap is bad. Hey, listen to the Jizza from the Wu-Tang Clan, or listen to Cannabis. We don't got that no more. They took our music and turned it into a debauchery. We got to blame ourselves in that.
Also, we didn't support the music that was supporting us.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a counter to the it's more so the rap part of the music, right? So we have the internet, right? Now, do you know who the top 3 rap artists are right now?
I have no idea, man.
Nah, I don't.
Two out of the 3 of them is what you would call conscious rappers, and that is Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole. Now, the thing that gets me upset is that, again, we have the internet. Nobody is listening to the radio. Every time I hear somebody talk about rap music nowadays, they always base it off the fucking radio. Most teenagers and adults aren't listening to the radio like that. If they are, it's like just because it's background noise while they're driving. That's it. Nobody's like legit sitting there on the radio. Everybody just either goes on YouTube, SoundCloud, Tidal, or Spotify, or Apple Music. So with the whole rap is, I mean, granted, what they try to push the most is trash, but I'm not gonna lie, I do like some of it. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I'm above the nonsense. But people have options. And you could find an artist that's like pretty niche. And that artist is also eating too. It's not like they like sitting there hungry because nobody's listening to them. If you're entertaining, and you'll have a fan base.
That's true. They're like the young boy Logic.
Yeah.
He's like a mixed rapper, but he's got flows, he's got bars. But the thing about it is, like, my little nephew, he doesn't know about like the deeper side about it. I had to put him on Logic and a couple other people. The main hood Negroes, the main place they go for rap music is World Star, and that place is just debauchery.
I haven't been on World Star in like fucking 2 years. Sorry. But even with fashion, right? When people, I don't know if you ever saw these memes where people talk about the different decades of fashion. And they always start, ironically, with the 90s usually, where it was like super baggy and shit. And I was just talking to my mom about this, and every time they bring up like current fashion, they always put like a picture of gay men wearing crop tops and super skinny jeans and calling that, and that's what they claim they see out every day when they walk out into the fucking world. Now, I live in a fashion hub, one of the fashion hubs. I do not see anybody doing that unless they're gay men, and even the gay men aren't even doing that shit. Coming outside with crop tops and fucking skinny ass jeans, like nobody's doing that here. So I'm like, I don't know where they live at. I was watching another video, like an interview today too. This lady went and said that fitted. She confused fitted with skinny, like skinny jeans, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like fitted and skinny is two different, totally different things. Like two totally different things. Skinny, because she's talking about how men want to show their groins. I'm like, I don't know what man is actively trying to do that. And I'm like, again, this is where she confused fitted with skinny. Because she's saying they wearing skinny jeans. I'm like, no, that's not skinny jeans and fitted is it's two totally different fits. A fitted garment, you're not gonna see shit like that. They follow a silhouette, but you're not gonna see their fucking the loins. So it's like stuff like that. Like, even when somebody also said that African garments is usually baggy, which is also untrue. Because they actually usually you see them wearing fitted garments, like Dynash, for example. Dynash garments is not fucking baggy. Y'all seen the clothes that he wears that he got tailor made when he gets there. That shit is usually fitted on him. So it's like it's all like goes back to people that are talking on subjects that they're not proficient in or have like barely any knowledge on. Cause I'm like, before the 90s, you could fairly say like it wasn't fitted, but it wasn't fucking super baggy like it was in the 90s. You know, everything was usually tailor made to your body. So it's like I don't know where this ideology is coming from that the 90s is the fucking pinnacle of masculine garments. But I don't know. I'm the crazy one.
Yeah, but back in that comment section, it seems like maybe our message is getting a little bit poisoned or tampered with about what people think we're trying to do. Like, in no way or no shape and form are we trying to go somewhere and kick the people off the land.
Yeah.
Like that's what the people are trying to push that our narrative is, and that's not it at all. I know I've researched this. There's places in Africa where it's just there's nothing there. There's places with forests with nothing there. There's places in desert, not only the Sierra. There's other deserts with nothing there, where we could take a small couple acres and build on.
I don't think a desert would be ideal for us, but hey.
Yeah. But I mean, there's places where it mixes in. Like Nambia is really beautiful. Like part of it is a forest and green, and then on the other section, it's just you run right into the desert. It's very beautiful. But there's land all over.
You know what's funny about this whole like land acquisition thing for the BAIO? You know what's crazy? You know the country Lesotho?
Nah, where's that?
So Lesotho is within South Africa.
South, yeah.
Okay, I think I was just looking at that. Yeah, it's like right there. It's like its own thing, right?
Yeah, it's a little small country that's within South Africa, and it's like that's pretty much what we kind of want to do. Is have our own little like fucking thing for ourselves, and eventually be its own independent nation.
So is that like Zululand or what? Who owns that land?
Sotho, the Sotho clan. Okay. Yeah, in Black Panther, you know, Daniel Kaluuya's character, he was based off of that tribe, what the Capes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty much them.
Okay.
I actually found out, but don't laugh. But I actually found out that actually snowed there. I didn't even know it snowed in Africa at all.
Oh, you didn't? Well, yeah.
Yeah, but they actually have their own ski slope there as well in the country. So,
or I think you can say similar, whatever. I think you can say that Hong Kong is also a part of China, but it's its own thing also.
Yeah, like it's China, but it's not China. Like Taiwan too. Like it's China, but it's not. Like,
and I was in that comment section too, and people think that you have to kill people to acquire land, but I'm thinking like
that's what Europeans do. Yes.
I'm thinking, well, why don't you just give them money and you can get the land?
Exactly.
I don't get why they think because it's gonna come in. First of all, what supplies are we gonna come in with to even do that?
Exactly.
It's just gonna like first of the country that we're in now is not even gonna let us leave with those items anyways. So
yeah.
I don't know, he's gonna come in on horseback or some shit, coming on tanks like, yeah, we're taking this shit over.
You know, I seen there was a white supremacist in the comment section talking about you don't need to go to Africa, you need to have your own country here. I'm like, these people are really crazy. They really don't want us to leave, man. They just want us to stay here and be tortured.
The crazy shit is because somebody actually asked me about that. He didn't say that's what we needed to do, but he just asked me like on my thoughts about it. Because I'm been pushing fucking Nationhood on Instagram like OD. But every time there's a fucking post about quote unquote buy the block back, it's like you're gonna do that with no nation backing you. That's stupid. I mean, you can do that, but it's not gonna stay there. It's not gonna be a flourishing neighborhood until you have somebody backing you, which we don't have.
Yeah.
But so I wrote, I told him I'll put it like this, right? I'll put it to you like this. The Confederacy wanted to separate from the Americas, right? And have the same states that everybody's trying to get, that with the nation within the nation shit.
Yeah.
They wanted those same exact states, and America was not allowing that to the point that they went to war for that, right? So why would they let our black asses do that? Like, I don't get, like, if they didn't let their own people do that, why do you think they'll let us do that? Where's the logic in that? And then, like, Hold Up even brought up like a good explanation. He's like, so with that too, you're gonna have them pay double taxes. So you're gonna have them pay taxes within the nation as well as to the host nation. So it's like, I don't know. I don't get why people just jump to hyperboles every time we mention nation. I don't get it, especially continental.
I think it's the way we word it and stuff. That's kind of what I think there's a miscommunication because people don't want to look into what the BAIO stands for or anything. So they kind of go off the first word they see is nation, and they just think blood, war, all this other stuff.
The main thing I hear the Africans saying, our cousins, our brothers and sisters, is it's going to be another Liberia. And you got to bring up what we've been saying before. Liberia went on for how many years? Over 100 years. And the only reason it fell was because of a CIA coup. So that comes to us as members of the BAIO. We got to clarify our message is we want a nation for the descendants of slaves in the Western Hemisphere to come with easy access. But ain't nobody being blocked out. I mean, if we're in Africa, it'll be just like America. Our hospital, who do you think the majority of doctors would be? They'd probably be Nigerian doctors, just like here in America, right?
Yeah, they might actually leave America to come there.
And I'm completely fine with that. I mean, if I walk into the hospital and I got hurt, fell off a motorcycle or something like that, and I got a broken leg, and I see a whole bunch of Nigerian doctors there, I'm gonna come in with a big smile. There ain't no hating. It's not like we're blocking everybody out. Y'all can't come here. I mean,
that's the thing. Like with Nigeria, when they mention Nigeria and Sierra Leone, they're not understanding that those lands was given to us by the people that enslaved us. It wasn't like it wasn't out of our own fruition saying going over there and getting the land ourselves. You know, it was for people. It was the enslavers saying, "All right, y'all don't want to be here no more. Here, take that." What we're doing now is similar, but we don't have a white middleman. That's why Liberia was so easily able to be in shambles, because Liberia like legit based everything. Well, Kyler would have more experience on this because he studied this. But from what I see, like pretty much based like damn near. I'm not gonna say damn near. A lot of things off of America, right? Mm-hmm. Even down to the fucking flag. The flag is like legit. The American flag just for one star. Right, and I think isn't Liberia? No, I think their capital is named after some white dude too. I think they're the guy that pushed for that. So, Kyle could correct me in the chat. I'll look at it. But it's stuff like that. Like us, it's not gonna be the same. It's the actual people here telling you, hey, but let's get some land. We'll help your country out for the time being, but just know that the end game is for us to actually have our own independent nation. And then.
Yeah, because we need something. I mean, we have helped Africa a lot, and we're asking for one thing. I'm tired of getting my ass whooped here. I'm tired. I had to watch the mother of the brother in Ferguson who got hung on a tree. I had to watch his mother talking about what the cops is doing. The cops is riding around harassing her
and shit. Man, did you see that clip where she was talking about what actually happened when they came?
Man,
they was actually like just laughing and shit, and then they had the black like some black cop in there could like pretty much have her not look outside, and she actually pressed him like, "Yo, like what is so funny? Like my son is dead in my backyard. I don't know how, and y'all laughing like this is a fucking joke or something."
And it's another type of evil. There's only two solutions to this. One, y'all gonna pick up arms, which you gotta factor that all out and look at the end game on that. Best case scenario, what could happen? The best case scenario still ain't really even a good scenario. Or two, you need to have an escape plan. The Jews right now have an escape plan all over the world. If anything pops off and they really start killing Jews, I live in Pittsburgh. I'm right down the road from where that dude walked into the synagogue and shot up the place, man. If it really starts popping off real bad, they can all go to Israel. If it starts popping off here really, really bad, even worse than it already is now, where are we going to go? And that's the thing I keep asking my African brothers. They tell me to integrate, but I'm like, where am I going to go?
Why do we have to integrate? I don't understand that. Like, why do we have to integrate? Why we can't just get some shit for ourselves?
Yeah, and it wouldn't even be just for ourselves. It would be for everybody. If the Jamaicans want to come there, even though they got their own country, they could come there. Yeah, apply for citizenship, and as long as you got a skill, you ain't no murderer, and you don't got a whole bunch of baby mamas all over the place that you need to be taken care of. Yeah, come on.
Like I really don't understand that. Like it's just instant pushback. They always want us to. They just want us to assimilate. Why would we assimilate to a country that's corrupt?
Not only
that's the main thing I don't understand. Is like you want us to assimilate and then what?
Yeah,
because your politicians are corrupt. So what am I really supposed to be there doing? Because if I want to actually build infrastructure, your president doesn't want that necessarily. He just wants money from outside influences. So it's like, what the fuck am I there for? like, so That's the main thing I don't get. Like even my mom, right? She's not even on this nationhood shit, but I'll be talking to her a lot about it. And she's like, yeah, it's like so they just want you to just be a slave there, pretty much. Like,
And when we do assimilate, they're gonna if we mention anything about politics, I would think it's gonna be like just be seen, not heard.
yeah, they just want us to just hush up because we don't know anything. So, which is what they say now.
Yeah, we don't know our tribe or anything like that.
Yeah, there's we got to get over the tribalism thing. And another thing about I really can't see us going back to West Africa because West Africa versus Southern Africa. If you ask the Southern Africa, somebody from Kenya, South Africa, the Congo, Namibia, if you ask them what white supremacy is, they could tell you exactly what it is. If you ask, not all, I met some real West Africans, but if you ask a lot of West Africans what's white supremacy and is white supremacy still going on, they're gonna look at you like you crazy, like, hey, that was in the past. It's a long time ago. Like, man, so I would aim towards the Southern Hemisphere or more like-minded people. Definitely want to be a trading partner with, our nation, with every West African country, East African country as well. But I think we would fare better off in the Southern Hemisphere.
Like even like with the like, cause I don't know if you guys been watching the Dynas recent videos. I can't remember his name, but I think he's originally from America, but he just lives in Ghana now. They was talking about the right to abode shit. That's what's going on with Ghana, and it was funny because it's like I didn't think about it like that. Like he was saying, he asked Dynas, what is the word abode means? And he's like to live, yeah. So he was like, I can do that anywhere in the world if I have money. So that right to abode thing is nonsense. I can legit just go anywhere in the world and just buy some land and live there. So, and then he was saying how they actually did, I think they're doing a revision of it. And he said how they pretty much did the whole shit by themselves. And then at the very end, they brought in him and a few other African Americans into the fray and then showed them their finished product. And he's looking like, why did you even bring us here then? If you pretty much was already doing it without us. So there's some disrespect going on, but we letting it rock because we understand why there's disrespect coming from them. Even though we shouldn't be taking it, but I get it. I totally understand because it's coming from like they themselves don't know. They think that they know the world, but they really don't know. So,
and that's the other thing. One thing I would say to my African cousins, what we're bringing there, more so than the skill set or any of our big time actors, big time athletes, we know these people. We know how the game works. A lot of people, once they get there, I keep hearing it. They're like, man, I had a completely different mindset about America until I got here. And when I got here, it just opened my eyes to what it was. And I've been living here all my life, so I know the game back and forth. I know when people are smiling right in my face, I know they're about to come with a knife. I mean, yeah, I can't move nowhere in your nation. The majority of your nation's wealth is in a French bank. Like, I can't live in your country. That's no disrespect
You to take it out.
living there, but to the higher ups, to the politicians and everybody else, man, what are y'all doing? That's an embarrassment.
like even with them trying to get their artifacts back, they like I think they're renting quote unquote their artifacts back, and it's like what the fuck you? No, take that shit the fuck back. What are you paying them for your stuff? Like that doesn't even make any sense. Oh man, but then I think in Ghana you have the president that's like lovey-dovey with one of the princes of England anyway. So
yeah, he actually went to school in England. So yeah,
mind you, that particular prince actually wants depopulation of Africans because of the wildlife. Believe it or not, he said the wildlife is in danger because of the fast population growth of Africa.
Wasn't that the French prime minister or something like that?
Yeah, he said it too. They both
talking about it. No, he said it too, but that particular that's not Prince Harry. I don't know what was his fucking name, but he said he started that first. So I was like, okay, it's clear. Like, I don't get how much more clear that it has to be to Black people as a whole. Like, these people don't like you. Like, I don't get it. Like, but I don't know. And then Ghana, I don't know if the U.S. actually fully went on to that military base. I don't know if the citizens got them to stop it or not. I don't know if you guys know about that. Yeah. And I think they only did that because there's a large population of black people from the states that's over there, and I think they was only doing that to keep an eye on them there, so they don't have any like influence.
Well, China's influence is so heavy in Africa. If a world war popped off, the Chinese could literally bully Africa into fighting on their side against America. And then if Africa's fighting against America, you know what the Black Americans are going to do, whose side they're going to be on. So it's a really touchy situation. And that's another reason we need to be there, because just our voices alone balances it out. We're not involved in the next world war. If we don't get attacked, we don't got no dog in that fight. That's where I'm at with it. There's no way I'm getting up and dying for America.
Yeah.
No way. No how. Not after what I'm seeing in the media. People getting hung.
I just wouldn't do it in general, just by just for the history alone. It's like, no.
I'm not gonna lie. For a little bit there, maybe until about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they had me gassed up. I was really thinking I was an American. I was a kid in the 80s, and when the 80s came up, I knew it was propaganda. It was the first black disc, the first black astronaut, the first black engineer here, I'm like, yeah, I could be the first black something. But little do I know, in the 80s, the CIA's pumping crack into American black neighborhoods. And I wish I would have known it. I wish somebody would have told me about that a lot earlier in my life before I made mistakes. But yeah, it's we're not Americans. I've got the message. Everybody needs to get on that same page.
It's cool. We was all cool, and I don't know why everybody don't want to admit that. Like they were born out the womb with the destruction of black civilization book in their hand and shit. So.
I didn't know what it is until I was in the middle of my military career.
So, you saw it because you saw them in their natural habitat, which is destruction. So
but it took another black guy in the military who it was a mix of Hidden Colors. He gave me a Malcolm X book. I read through that, and then that's where everything just started flowing, connecting. But yeah, I was already in the middle of the Marine Corps, overseas and everything. So
I was going to join the Navy because I know the Navy is more tech oriented. Yeah, so I was actually going to join them back in 2013, 14 because I was just graduated high school. So, but at that point in time, that's when I started like waking up to shit because I was around the time when Trayvon died. So I'm looking at like, oh shit. I always knew like racism and shit was prevalent. Like my mom and my dad, like mainly my mom, she would OD, like she would just eat it on me. Mm-hmm. But then, things just started getting crazy. I started just like turning it up, like just ramping up. I'm like, okay. I'm like, why the fuck? Because my dad brought it up. My dad brought it up, and I'm like, what the fuck? I want to join the Navy for? Like, I could easily die tomorrow, and the person will get off because I'm black. I'm their white.
And that's also where I kind of picked up a skill. Well, not a skill, but a love for weapons and guns and stuff like that. And I got interested in knowing how to make like assault rifles and stuff like that on your own. And I seen videos of gunsmiths and they're making their own assault rifles and stuff. And I'm like, what if we can take this to the home country or the homeland and build something like this?
That's actually a good thing that you brought up because we actually, because I know we talked about it in conference calls before, like pretty much that's gonna be pretty much like I guess like you could say like a military military focus at first, but we do need to think about that, like having a refinery, like an arms refinery and stuff like that, and stuff like that.
And that's
we could probably make our own guns.
Yeah, I saw the prices of steel and stuff like that, and it's actually per ton. It's actually not that much. I think it's about $2,000 or something like that per ton.
That makes sense because gun parts themselves don't really cost that much. Like I was looking at them, they actually cost the same amount as computer parts.
Yeah,
I'm like, damn, that's pretty cheap. I wasn't expecting that.
Well, we went to a machining while I was in the electrical program. We went to a machining shop. And because we were helping them with their lights, and I'm talking to the dude and the machining dude and say, yeah, we can make anything. Because he had something that looks like a revolver part. And I was like, yo, you can make guns with machining? It's like, yeah, we can make anything in here. Just set the machines up and boom, you got it. So it's like, dang, we can make some big money with this.
Yep. It's funny that you brought up the military too, because on Instagram I actually been encountering a lot of military vets because
Mm,
they see my nationhood. See, most military dudes will understand us needing our own nation. What I've been noticing, because
mm,
they know, like, they understand like how militaries work.
hmm.
So how are you going to defend yourself if you don't have a nation of your own?
Yeah, some dudes always be sending me videos about, there was a video on YouTube, if America can take the whole world. And the video was saying, yeah, it could, kind of. But me and my seeing the inside of a military, I'm thinking logistics. Where are they coming up with the logistics? And
Because of
the
course, well, unless they create a blank check for the country to then do that, then yeah.
yeah, because the
But
logistic, it didn't sound right. It just don't sound right to me. Now that I've been through the military, seeing how it works, like if you were to take on the entire world, you wouldn't have the manpower, you wouldn't have the technical skill, you wouldn't have the logistic supply. You would be so spread out. And you know that China is just overpopulated right now, and Russia, and then throw in the EU. You
America,
just
yeah, America can attack outwards, but inward the defense is bad. That's another thing.
yeah.
There's so
I think a good game that showed that properly was Modern Warfare 2. If you guys remember the story mode for that. That was a pretty that was a pretty accurate depiction of what would happen.
and that's the
Um,
thing, man. They got all these people. You got China on the rise. You got the Middle Eastern terrorists, the jihadis,
Nobody
and
worried about them no more.
yeah, but they got sleeper cells here. And my thing is this: you would think they would be cool with us, like, hey, we might need the blacks for a war. They whooping our ass, man. And then when a war pops off, they're gonna have the audacity to ask us to join up.
Yep. Like, um,
Well,
I
they
think
see.
I don't know. Maybe Converse, you could confirm it. I remember seeing something like years ago when I was in high school. Apparently, all the Chinese citizens have to go through military training, or actually have to join the military.
Yeah, most Asian countries I've seen have to do that because I know we've been to Korea and they have to go 2 years mandatory
Yeah. So
because it's such a volatile region. Well, kind of it's such a volatile region because South Korea doesn't know if North Korea is going to attack. China is right there. Vietnam is right there. Also, India and China is going against each other, kind of. So it's kind of they
yeah,
do that mandatory
I mean,
stuff.
Southeast Asia, they just trying to get money. I'm noticing their economy is rising pretty fast too. They just want money. They ain't worried about fighting nobody no time soon.
China or Singapore?
Wait, what?
What you say?
Is it China or like Singapore and like Vietnam, like the other? Or are you talking about China?
No, just mainland China.
Okay.
I mean, like China. That's what I'm saying. That's why I asked. I'm like, even in Israel too. I was because this is a show on Netflix called Fight World. And the last episode, the guy goes to Israel, and it's the same thing there. Like I think all like once you turn 18, you get drafted to the military. You do like I think 2 to 4 years,
Yeah.
and you see, and it's crazy because it's like throughout the whole episode, he's walking around, and like you seeing like all these baby face people walking around, but like fucking military grade weapons.
Well, you got to think for Israel, they're
So
surrounded by enemies.
yeah,
Hmm.
that's what he was saying. Like, yeah, that's what the dude was explaining to me. He's like, yeah, like at any fucking moment, something could pop off. Hence why they're there at every corner, damn near. But he was saying like it was weird because he was saying like like seeing this is actually weird. I actually feel a lot safer seeing them at every corner. And he was and then he's like, if this is America, I'll be scared for my life. Said here is totally different.
So, would you
But
think it would be necessary if BAIO was to create our own nation within Africa to put a mandatory military service or a paramilitary service?
yeah, that's what I was mentioning at the
I,
start of this discussion because we talked about this multiple times in the conference call. And we were saying like, yeah, that realistically that may have to be the case. until things start like getting more like going forward, until we start having more people being patriotic to the nation, to the point that it's just them volunteering to protect it.
Yeah, yeah. I think for that reason, it needs to be. Also, it is African tradition that the young men go off and take warrior training to
Yeah.
become men. So I think that. But another thing that I never see Africans do, and I see everyone else do, is joint military exercises. I mean, there's some with the African Union. You got Kenya going up to Somalia and stuff like that. But I'm talking about like military drills, like South Africa, Zimbabwe, Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria.
Well, from what I
All
saw, the way the militaries is like there's regional based from what I've been seeing. Like, yeah, you have national armies, but it's more so regional from what I was seeing. Like the West Africa would be like the West African Region Army, or South African Regional. Like they're not all named that. Like they all have their own specific names, but it's like a collective of nations within the continent. Like if shit was to really get serious, all these countries will band together, and that's their military.
And to be honest, I've kind of been looking at how they are, but that was only on YouTube and looking up statistics and stuff like that. I kind of think they're ill funded, to be honest, because I know how the military is in funding. I mean, the Marine Corps is in funding, but
Well, yeah, I
for
mean
them, they
that would
don't.
make sense if
They
the head politician is getting all the money.
Yeah, and they don't have their equipment. Probably is going to be outdated. I seen they don't have much of a navy or non-existent navy other than transports.
Nigeria got
Yeah.
one tanker that the U.S. gave them, some old crappy carrier.
Yeah, exactly. So they're getting hand-me-downs from the
Yeah,
U.S., French, all
and
that stuff. So
that's another reason when we get there. I've seen it over and over again in these places. These engineers who are working for Boeing, these top American companies, they're black people all in there, and we need that skill set in Africa.
but unfortunately, I don't see that happening too much. You're gonna not gonna get a lot of that skill set because why would they come to Africa and risk it while they have a plushy lifestyle here?
That's true, and that's why the nation we got to build it up. It's
And that's the thing, because there's no incentive to do that. Because it's like, what I'm gonna assimilate into these nations, I'm not gonna allow me to
yeah,
do what I need to
exactly.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
That's
like,
why I
I'd
said in
rather
that.
just stay here.
That's why I said in that post. One of the posts I posted under uh, Dynas's videos is not everybody's going to come. Not every black person in America is going to come to Africa and build up and take land. It's probably going to be less than 1% of black people coming to Africa to build up a nation state.
Oh yeah, that's the thing that's really getting me upset when we talk about nationhood. It's just instant hyperboles. Is like, no. When did I say that everybody's coming? I never stated that. When did I say all 50 plus million black people here, specifically the states, is going to go over to the continent? I actually had one person say that everybody can't fit in the nation. I'm like, are you retarded? I'm like, are you actually retarded, bro? I'm like, Nigeria has 100 plus million people in there.
Hypothetically, look at Japan. They got
I was just
millions
gonna say
upon
that.
millions, and that one little tiny island.
And actually, not Tokyo. Just Tokyo
Yeah,
has
Tokyo.
40 million or 50 million people. I
Yeah,
think in 5 years they're going to have 50 million people. So it can be done. You could build a super city, and you
yeah.
could
I'm
put them
looking
in
at
there.
what the fuck are you talking about,
But
bro?
yeah, let's be honest. Even best case scenario, we build a beautiful country, a Pan African country. Everybody still ain't coming. You know it. These
Yeah,
people, they wouldn't leave this land if it was on fire.
The only way that'll happen. Well, initially we don't want people. We don't just want your average Joe coming anyways.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
So that's already off rip. But they'll cut it once we like actually fully open up and be like, all right, y'all can come. I think you're gonna see a lot of people actually wanting to like coming over. But if they gotta pay, like it'll be like probably like some instances like, oh, I can't afford it. It'd be like, why you can't pay for my ticket to come and get me and have me be over there? It's like, yo, bro, like,
See, I told myself I'm not going to come. Well, I'm going to go to Africa, but I'm not going to live in Africa until I have enough money to start well, not even a mega business, but something dealing with an industry that can make millions. I'm not coming until I have at least 6 figures in the bank account.
I was just talking to a Kenyan about that, and he said you don't need that much money to start a business. Because I told him I think I need about 25 to
Well,
50,000, but he was like, you don't need that much.
well, the
Yeah,
businesses I wanted to start was more dealing with like shipping and manufacturing. So
Okay.
I don't know how that would work, but I would say I would need like a 6 figure salary to do something like that, or six
at
figures
least,
coming
bro.
in yearly to do something like that.
Like I think Dynas was recently asking too. Like, no, this is not recently. It was he was in Senegal actually. I forgot the dude's name that he's with, but he's the dude he was with was also from the States as well.
Yeah, I
But it
follow
was
him.
just looking at hauses, like the prices of just building a house. He said, "How much would it cost to build like a 5 bedroom house?" He was like, "Probably like 50,000." He's like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Easy." And he's like, "Your house will like fucking withstand anything, pretty much, because of the way the architecture, the way they build." So I mean, like people, we could do it. It would just be like it would just be like the collective would just need an incentive to like really come, you know. They would have
Yeah.
to like see us flourishing, which is stupid within itself. It's like, why won't you just be a part of that and help it flourish? But you know, that's why we have in the people that have skills, I guess, to create that desire to want to come over. And again, it's like we're not asking you to come over. Like that's the thing I don't think we discussed yet. Um, the people that want to stay here, like, will they like file for citizenship here while they're here, and then we'll just approve them, or how would that work?
I mean, that's up for debate, but there any place, any nation, any place, there's got to be a vetting process.
Yeah.
Always, and I understand that. I understand, like, if we had our own nation and the cops come up on me and say, "Hey, can I see your ID?" I'd be like, "Yeah, here's my ID," because I know, you got to look out for criminals. But here in America, most of the time, you yoking me up out of the crowd is because I'm the only black person in here. You just trying
Yeah.
to fuck with me, and
Yeah.
yeah,
I wouldn't say, well, that's just opinion based, but I would just say start like in America, you would just start something to kind of ease people to transition into Africa. And then later on, while they're in Africa, then they can apply for citizenship or in the nation.
agreed. Yeah,
So they would have to come and just like they would have to come and then apply for that.
Yeah, I would
All
say
right.
because it's kind of like I think it's kind of weird to apply for citizenship of a nation that you've never been to or never
that's
lived
true.
in.
But the goal is to but the for the outwards enclaves here, from what I understand with the BIO, is to so they can still have these enclaves, but they can also have a place like a land of their own outside of America that they can always come to and live on.
Well, of course, it'll probably be easier for them to get citizenship and everything, but still, there needs to be some kind of process to kind of say, okay, you're not anyone that's hazardous to the country or to the nation.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like, how are we going to deal with people that have criminal records as well?
Depends on what it is, because I know a lot of black people who have these small little felonies of probably trafficking marijuana, drugs, and something like that. But and America be handing them out like candy. So
Because
unless you murdered or raped somebody, then yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, because like the guy that I follow, right, Yurima Karama, I believe him, right? He said he got convicted when he was 19 and he served I think like 17 years in jail because the woman he was with at the time, I think she tried to say she tried to kill him or something like that, and the whole jury, all white jury, just found him guilty instantly because he decided to fight it. Mind you, if he would have just took a plea deal, he probably would have been out a lot sooner. But he decided to fight it because he's like, "Yo, I'm innocent," and he got like almost the same amount of years as he was at the time, which is 19. He almost got that. So there's like stuff like that. Like, are we gonna like really like delve deep into it, or is this gonna just be like, oh, you got that, like you got that on your record? No.
Yeah, I think it would have to be delve into it because I think knowing how America is and how unfair and unjust it is, you would have
Yeah.
to look into it.
That's a whole nother show in itself. The vetting process, the political process of the nation. Um, we're just at the point where we're trying to get the message out there, get people to realize this. What is the best solution? What would the best logical solution would be? And when you think about it, you come to it is, hey, we need our own nation.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems natural to me because that's the conclusion I came to.
Yeah.
But for other people, it's harder because they have this other, I don't know, other plan to divide themselves, like on if they're a woman versus man, if they're gay versus straight, if they're all this other stuff that the mainstream throws in there. It kind
Mm-hmm.
of messes up their concentration, I would say.
Like I don't know. It's like when I first found out about the BL, I was actually like I was coming home. I was going to the gym after work, and Dynas was doing a live stream. Well, hold up. And once he brought up the idea of after he brought up all these scenarios and then brought up this nation, I'm like, yo, this shit makes so much fucking sense.
Yeah.
Common sense.
I'm like, holy shit, because I guess I guess you could say there was like a block in my quote unquote conscious elevation or enlightenment. And once he said that shit, I'm like, yo, like that makes so much fucking sense. Like, why not just get a nation and then not here? Because that's not gonna work. So I'm like, yo, like, this all just makes so much sense now.
So that's issue one. And I think issue two is we need to let the Africans know what we're planning on building there. We ain't trying to come there and lock down the borders. We're trying to build something great. I mean, it's sad to me when I meet Africans all the time here in America, and they might be from Cameroon or whatever, and they like, yo, I really can't go home because the country's so corrupt.
Yeah, Cameroon is real bad right now.
And I would like to have someone to say, you know what, you got the skill set, come live with us, man. You got to have something that's what we're accustomed to. Like I'm accustomed to. I've done some camping, but I can't be nowhere without running water, without electricity, without heat. These are things that I'm accustomed to.
Yeah,
that I think that every human being
should have at this point.
Should have.
Like, that's the whole point of technology and research and development.
Even in the bush, man. My thing is, even in the bush, we could have every village in the bush should have lights. We could have cellular panels with lights, and we could run some water in there.
Hell, I was actually looking at this this Netflix show. You guys could probably take a look at it. I think it was like the most extraordinary houses or something like that, or homes. And there was because they divided up by sections. So there was one section where it was like all these houses built in forests, and when there was this one house that legit was that it was built in a forest, and the way the architect designed it, the way he said it, he was like, it's like the forest gave me like the land to work with. So the house is kind of like in the zigzaggy motion, but it's like it works, you know, like it fills in, like the house fills in this space perfectly. They didn't have to cut down any trees, nothing. It just completely built within the space within this forest. And like if there's somebody want to live like that, they can, with the basic necessities, which is electricity, running water, and stuff like that. So I was actually looking there's somebody that I follow too. He's just now or yesterday, he's talking about hemp homes, like hemp housing. So like building homes with hemp. And he was just stating like on the benefits building houses with hemp is. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, yo, I got a DM him actually, but yo, you wanna be part of the BL? So I don't know, like it could happen, it could work, but people just gotta I don't know, like maybe maybe we're not being clear enough, or maybe it's going over people's heads when we explain it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but all I know is it just takes money to build what we want to build. It takes money. That's all it does.
It is. And we ain't even to the section where we want to get the money together, because when it comes time, when we get the okay, or even the African government considers it, then we can go back to getting the money part. And that'll be, we're going to have to get a collective of all our black banks to manage the money, you know, a bunch of other organizations, and then we could start collecting the money. Once we get the go ahead and the word is out there that they're going to set aside land for Africans in the American hemisphere to come back home, we're going to get donations from everywhere. And I don't want to hear nobody talking about we ain't taking donations from Germany. Like, come on, we're going to take money from whoever, whatever, and we're going to do it. Even not on the donation.
Strings attached.
Yeah, we spend billions of dollars on Jordans every year. Yeah. Every year, man.
That's the thing is like Complex said, it's just the strings attached. It's like, yo, like there's no that you giving us this money, we not doing nothing for you.
Be
us taking this money. Yeah. So
I think a lot of places would help. I think we can get other African governments to help us off initially because they know what we're going to bring there.
Yeah, like see with the African nations outside of the Arab ones. I'm more than sure we wouldn't mind working with them. Everybody else, however, no. As long as it's not too demanding of what they're asking for, then I think we would probably take it.
You said working with Arab nations?
No.
Oh.
No, I said everybody. Like all the African nations aside. Not including the Arab ones.
Okay.
We would work with, but. That's what I'm saying. Like with the African ones, like the Black Africans, the original people, I don't think we would have a problem working with their nations if they donated to the cause, as long as their demands or their strings aren't too ridiculous to work with.
If that happens, I'll be like, you protect us, I protect you.
Yeah, mind you, we already want to work with them anyways because we want to restore the entire continent back to its former glory.
And that's the second thing. After we get this thing rolling on the road, give us 10 years. I mean, my hope is the BAIO would eventually form into a nonprofit that just goes around building up African infrastructure. Once we get on our toes, I mean, we can go to Kenya and build up the infrastructure, go to the Congo, build up the infrastructure.
Yeah.
If we were to do it, I would say bypass the nonprofit and just turn into basically a group of corporations and everything to use our money that we're making off the infrastructure to build up these countries, because I think that's the fastest and the fastest and the best way to go about it. But
so whatever money we get goes right back into building more.
Yeah, basically, it's kind of like,
I guess like whatever excess money we have, we just invest that back into like we'll invest it into our nation first and foremost. But if we have anything extra, then that's when we'll invest it to another country.
That's along the basis of a nonprofit. Just our goal isn't to make money. Our goal is infrastructure, and with building that, more important than money comes power.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kyle, that we do, and I think that's what have a lot of continental Africans scared because they think that we're trying to just make money off of them when that's not the case. As Kyle was saying, we have first world expectations.
Hell, the British and the French make money off of them.
That's nothing.
Yeah, that's the thing I don't get. Like, I don't get why we get all these speeches that we can't bring our quote unquote Western ways, but that I don't hear fucking peep of when Europeans and Asians come over there.
We gotta. You know what? I've been getting heavy into Amos Wilson more than usual lately, and Black people the world over, we got deep psychological problems we gotta deal with, mainly with one another.
Because we want to like once we say modern on the, I brought this up in the conference call months ago, right? There was this granted she grew up in a village. This girl from Cameroon. This lady, no, she's not a girl. She's a woman. She's older than me. She grew up in a village in Cameroon, and then she moved here when she was a kid. And she was talking about how African soil is not meant for fucking skyscrapers and shit, and how it's gonna pollute the soil and all that. How African soil is meant for farming, and so I'm looking at her like her Instagram stories. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is she talking about? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, where did you get this? Where did you get this information from? Probably the only accurate thing that she said was African soil is really good, really meant for farming, which it is. Hence why a lot of Asians is bringing back the fucking dirt over there to all the Asian countries, specifically China.
A lot of people in Africa, man, are really brainwashed and they don't know their own history. Like, if you speak to an older African, they can't tell you too much about maybe Timbuktu or the Nile Valley, not even Egypt, but even like the pyramids in Sudan that is unmistakably black. They really can't go in too deep on it because they've been colonized so heavily, man. They got rid of their own history and took another. They could tell you everything about the British monarchy.
Yeah, and in the process, they lost their fangs. They lost their warriorhood, their everything.
And
Really.
not everybody, but
Yeah.
Yeah, Deontay. I remember actually I was in an Instagram live with this young guy, this young kid. I showed him Kigali, and this he was fucking excited, like he was in ecstatic. He's like, "Yo, it really looks like that there." He's like, "Holy shit!" And he's looking at the concepts for like future like projects within Rwanda and other African nations by the African government. He said, "Yo, holy shit!" He said, "Wow, this is crazy. I didn't know that." I'm like, "Wow."
and I just dropped something in the chat right there. It's the Black Architect database. I'm in it right now.
I'm glad that you actually did that because my I was just talking to my mom earlier how I actually want to look at more of African architecture.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to incorporate that. I mean, that's down the road, but just to tell you that the people we got currently there's 2,256 licensed African American architects. This is just in their database alone. That's not in the country. So we have more than a slew of people to go to and say, hey, we need to build skyscrapers. We want to build a city that looks like this on paper. How much do we need? How hard is this going to be? What do we need? We got the people on top of the people.
Yes. Like, that's the thing I don't get. Like, on one hand, right? People say that we have the people, and then wonder why I guess for like a better term, us aren't necessarily doing nothing for the collective. And then on the other hand, they complain that there's nobody in those fields. So it's a little weird to me when I see these talking heads when they speak about black people in professions that are actually tangible. It's like either or. It's not a cut and dry like there's no context, you know? It's weird. I would just say like we do have the people. It's just that the people, most of the people, not us, but most of the people in our professions don't see the incentive in giving back. You know,
I think we got Black Americans in America, the USA. I think we got battle fatigue. We're just so collectively tired, man. Like we just been fighting and fighting and fighting. It's like, man. And then on top of that, you can't. The worst thing about it is, in every neighborhood in America, there's that one street you can't go down. I live in the hood, man. There was just gunshots the other night. It's a nice neighborhood. There's black people working everywhere, but you step on the wrong street, man, bullets is flying, man. And that's sad. It's part of our culture fell apart. We got deep psychological issues, and more so than us just getting free. This is a statement. Us doing this, us making our own country, us making something great is a flag. This would be damn near the equivalent of planting a flag on the moon for black people in America. That's what it would be. It would be like, God damn, I can't believe them Negroes.
Wait, hold on, but is the moon actually real?
Oh God.
That's why I can't wait if two of the BAIO gets enough power and land and all this stuff built up under it. When you go into these debates and everything, you're going to be blowing people out the water because you have a receipt of everything you're doing right.
That's the excuse. Are you in the laboratories?
Yeah.
Like, yo, bro, like, and they'd be like, yeah, I am actually. I'm telling you that what you're saying is bullshit. That's what I feel about technology now that I'm I'm certified and actually in the field officially now. It's like, yo, like when I see people talk about technology, I'm like looking at them like they're fucking stupid. Like, what are you talking about? Like the biggest argument that I hate so much is it really triggers me is when people say that technology is running people's lives, especially when they talk about children. And it's like, if you're concerned about a child not knowing a certain skill because of technology, whose fault is that? Is that the parents' fault or the child's fault?
They really said that? That don't make no sense.
Yeah, it's like
yeah, so it's everywhere.
Yeah, like or like because I'm a gamer, right?
Mm-hmm.
They'll be like they always in front of the game. Mind you, me being a gamer actually made me find my passion, which is technology.
Yeah, me too.
So it's like, and again, it's like, whose fault is that? Is that the kid or the parents' fault?
Yeah, like not just but playing like the storylines of games. Like it opens you up. It's like a story, so it did help. But yeah, somebody's saying technology isn't helping. Going back to Amos Wilson, man, what he said is we're not using, naturally black children learn at a faster rate than any other child. So they pick up stuff a lot quicker, but we don't use that. We're not teaching them. That's when we should be teaching them about STEM skills and everything else. You look on Facebook and they got kids dancing and doing the booty shake and stuff like that when they do crazy. It don't make no sense. I see, dude. One thing I did see on Twitter the other day. I seen a 9-month-old black baby reading. The mom had a cue card and was pulling out words like apple, orange, and the baby was reading it. It was crazy. So I
see that. That's pretty old. I saw that originally it came out, I think, like 4 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
It's still astonishing.
Yeah, we're not using our natural skills, our natural jump. That's something we need to do, but we don't control the educational system.
No, we don't.
But I guess that's all changing now because, like, since geek stuff like gaming, anime, shit like that is becoming more acceptable now with the younger generations.
Yeah,
we may actually see a shift in that.
Hopefully, it's more so because when I grew up in high school, it wasn't safe to be a black nerd. You had rumbles.
For me, it's there because I graduated in 2013, so that's like I'm a part of. I guess you could say the first round of that generation of it being more accepted.
Yeah.
Because with my generation, we didn't give a fuck. Like, okay, so why are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Because I guess it was under the impression that since I like these things, I can't defend myself, and then they quickly learned that that's not the case. So it's like I guess it made it more acceptable. Like I did used to like Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid, so let me actually like see what's more out there besides that and stuff like that. Especially with fucking gaming. Like these dudes was fucking sit here and a lot of they're not gamers, but I guarantee you they buy the same exact variations of games every year, like Call of Duty and 2K, and play the shit out of them probably more than me in a day. They probably spend more hours in a day playing those games than I do with mine. So we probably see a shift, like I'm saying. Like,
gaming has been a roadmap for me to get into the technical field, the electrical field, and everything else. And then I'm doing my little research on all the parts and stuff, and I'm seeing there's only 2 major developers of CPUs really for gaming, and that's just AMD and Intel. That's all I see around.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you earlier. The reason why it's like that, he said the white man is Frieza, Deontay 4. The reason why it's like that because AMD originally, is those workers, those people that created AMD actually used to work for Intel or used to be a part of Intel.
Oh, really?
I forgot what happened because I learned this all in my trade school. I forgot what happened, but then they just decided to split. But the thing was, though, they couldn't use the same design as Intel for their chips. So if you look at like motherboards, even like their chips themselves, because you have 2 different types of chips. So you have LGAs and PGAs. So Intel's proprietary is LGAs, which means land grid array. So that means that the pins are on the motherboard, and you just pretty much place the chip on the pins safely and then lock it in. Yeah. Now with AMD chips, they are pin grid array. So on their motherboard chips socket, there's like holes within the socket, and then the chip itself has the pin. So it's like you sticking the chip within these holes.
That's AMD.
Yeah. So they had to come up with a different way of making chips, essentially, in order to make money.
Well, I know Paul Kagami just, or this is a little bit in the past, he invited the Japanese over there, like a bunch of their high industry tech professionals, to teach them how to get into technology. And I think they were looking into that. So he's trying to become like a tech hub. So he's got the right mindset. I mean, I understand there's some problems over there. He's been there for a while, but can't argue with the man. What he's trying to do is what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Step into to the 22nd century.
Yeah, we could actually be more modern than these countries if we had our own. But I'm not even gonna say if we're going to have our own. We got to speak it into existence, you
It
know.
is. It is. It truly is. We just got to see. We got to make our message clear, and that's what our I think our goal should be for 2019 is to make our message clear. We ain't trying to kick no one out. We want Africans, purebred Africans that are already there with high skill levels to come and live with us and work with us. We're bringing so much there. We're bringing our skills. I'm tired of seeing everything that I do benefit another. Like think of all our athletes and our actors, Will Smith, Denzel Washington. That comes off on paper as American actors. And then African actors.
Yeah, like even on Google, yeah, that is true. Like when
Yeah,
you
yeah.
Google them, they'll just say
And
American actor or actress
yeah, we
or
got so
American
many great
musician.
actors and directors and everything that's known all around the world, or musicians. We run music, but it's to the glory of another. It's to America. We need to bring that to Africa. And so all them there's some good Nigerian actors. If you get one of them in a movie with Denzel, we could catapult them. So
They'll
that's
make a
another
good
thing.
ass action flick.
Yeah, we're going to blow African media through the roof if we get there. I'm telling you, because that's one thing the Black American has. Well, we don't really own, but that we're known for is entertainment.
Entertainment, yeah.
And that's what we're going to bring there.
Well, one of the things we're bringing there.
One of the things.
Yeah, one of my points for 2019 personally is just getting that money flow started and getting it going because I'm about to meet with a real estate guy. He owns 30 properties and stuff, and I'm just trying to get that base, that money flow in. So
Yeah.
if I go to Africa, I always got money coming in, dealing with real estate, basically having a second income coming in.
I'm just trying to just like expand my skill set to my goal, which is cloud computing. Because once I get there, start making the big bucks early, because I'm 23, so I'm trying to make 100 figures by the time I'm 30.
Bro, you're in a good place. Listen to me, you're in a good place. You got a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this money.
Just keep getting my first 5 years after I jumped out of college, I was just doing dumb hood stuff, man. Thank God I didn't end up in jail or dead, like honest to God. And then finally at around 26, I took my ass back to school and started educating myself. But one thing us here in America, everybody right now, and everybody listen to this again for on the restream, you gotta grab another skill. Educate yourself more, or try to educate yourself self-taught, or take a class or whatever. Boost your skill set, because we're gonna need it when we touch down. You gotta have two skills, yeah.
And that's why I've been like pretty much recruiting people more so to the BAIO. Hey, usually in live streams, like I'll bring it up and then they'll be defensive, then I explain it to them, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, let me join." And then I'm like, if you don't have a skill, you can always learn a skill within the BAIO. We'll be happy to give you the information. We're not locking anybody out. It's like, oh, you don't got a skill? I know, fuck you. Like, no, if you have a desire, the desire alone is good enough for us. If you have a desire to be in any of these fields, those people that are in those departments will provide you with the information so you can be on the same level as them, or you would be even better than them, depending on how dedicated you are. So
I feel like if you don't learn some type of skill in America, you're just lazy. Like even like before I got in,
I agree.
Before I got into STEM, even this, like people might look down on it. I was a cook for 4 or 5 years, but like I know I could be a sous chef. That's like one of my hard skills. You could drop me anywhere in the world, and I know how to cook American cuisine plus soul food and a little bit of Italian, maybe a little bit of Asian. So even that is a cooking skill. If you could run a restaurant, that's a skill.
Yeah, culinary is very important.
Yeah, culinary is a skill. Like,
sure, we can make our own fucking national dishes.
Exactly. Yeah, if you in America and you just sitting, we got a lot of, to be honest, we got a lot of dusty Negroes who don't want to do nothing but sit around and take a handout. I mean, hey,
or just work retail for the rest of their life. It's like I don't understand. Like even like with these, because I see a lot of Black people in construction, right? So I'm like, why hasn't it been anybody like banding all these Black construction workers together to make one big company? Even that's how I feel about everything about these Black-owned businesses in general. Like, why is there so many different Black-owned businesses that do the same shit, like providing like skincare or fashion and stuff? Why don't y'all all come together make one giant conglomerate of clothing for black people.
I think we had, well, because we had it before in like 1930, 1940, 1950. That's why, because the Kenyan brother I was just talking to, he asked me like what happened. I'm like, yo, we used to have our stuff together, but we fell for the okie doke. We went for civil rights and we asked to be friendly.
I'm an individual.
Yeah, that was a huge mistake, and we sold out everything. And then right after we did that, we got hit with crack cocaine, and it was bottoms up after that one.
Because I'm like, I'll be looking at these coming like, yo, if they just band together, everybody would benefit.
It's individuality.
Like,
everybody wants to be an individual.
I'm like, they don't understand how much money they would make if they just banded together. Honestly, I think the most cringiest thing for me right now when it comes to black-owned businesses is I guess you could say Afrocentric, for lack of a better term, clothing. Because to me, it feels like they like just trying to force it down at your throat. Like it'll just be like for example, this is
like not natural.
Yeah, it's nothing original really. Like they're trying to make our history cool through clothing, if that makes sense. There was this one page I used to watch. He had like the sporting, like I guess you could say it was like a sport brand, and he made up like his own like sports teams based off historical figures or groups of people like the Moors and Mansa Musa, Nat Turner, what's that shit in oh my god, I can't think of the name. The Olmecs, like he did like stuff like that, but made him like a team, like a sports team, like on his jersey to make jerseys out of. And I was like that's cool and all, but this is when I look at it after a while, it's just kind of getting cringy. It's like, because it's like, bro, like I get it, but this is kind of cringy right now. Like, you don't have to do that to show pride in the race, you know. Mm-hmm. But I guess the clothing is made to then build up pride for the race, so I get it. But I don't know, because I'm like I'm into fashion too, so it's kind of like yeah.
Well, that's another thing, bro. You know, right with our entertainment, our fashion sense runs the world.
Yeah,
I mean, you see everywhere in the world dressing like us.
Yeah, actually, there's a guy actually. He lives in Japan. He's a swirler, but it's cool. I don't give a fuck. That's his business. As long as for my whole thing is as long as you don't speak on black issues, I don't care. Do whatever the fuck you want. So that's just me personally. If you're doing that, just don't speak on black issues because you already chose your side on that. So, but he lives in Japan, and he was talking about like streetwear because Japan is like really big on streetwear, and they got that from us from like in the 90s because that's pretty much his whole channel was Japanese fashion. So when you look at like how they dress, most of the people in Japan dress like I guess urban, like how we dress here.
Well, I wouldn't say most. I would just say the younger crowd for the most part.
And the reason why it is because apparently they don't get to really express themselves throughout the day through their clothing. So that's the only way they can really express themselves is through their clothing.
And that's another thing, man. We get back on African soil. It's not going to be the African American no more. It's going to be the African. This is African fashion sense.
Yeah. I already got some designs in my head because I'm into the style that I'm into right now. Not even right now. I'm committed to this shit. If you guys get a chance after the stream, you guys can look up techwear. That's like the most like coolest fucking fashion style I've ever seen in my life. And it's weird because like I always kind of like that futuristic, dystopian kind of look. And once I discovered that with last year, I just been hooked on it completely. Like, I'm full throttle. I'm like doing my whole wardrobe over. I'm trying to start my own techwear brand and shit. So I already got the ideas in my head. I'm in there. I was thinking about like maybe like once we get on the continent, I could probably do like some fusion, like do like techwear but with an African twist to it.
I could see that.
So what techwear is pretty much it's technical garments. So like windproof garments, waterproof garments, like materials like that. It's not actually fusing technology within the garment itself, but there's stuff like that, like just like weatherproof garments. So I was like, I could do that. I'm like coming up with like ideas in my head, like I could probably do that with like African designs and cuts and stuff like that. So
I seen Dinus on one of his streams. He had some Chuck Taylors custom made with
Them was
the kente
hard.
claws.
Yeah, those is hard, bro.
Yeah, I was like, oh
I
my
have
god.
flat feet, so I couldn't wear them, but those just was cool. My feet would be killing me wearing them. So unless you got like
But
orthopedic soles that I don't know about.
like if I seen that in the a fashion show or one of these what do you call it, Afrocentric people selling these, I would cop those, a pair of those.
Well, I just seen I was following one of the Instagram, like something pops up on my stuff for advertising. I seen a sweatshirt. It had like hieroglyphics on it and then some other like, African stuff in it. And then I popped it in. I'm like, ooh, that's sick. And then somebody in the comment section was like, yo, don't shop here. It's a Chinese company. And that relates to somebody else I was talking about it. The Chinese actually study us a lot for fashion sense and then come back and sell it at because a lot of shoes and apparel comes from China. But so they study us and then they try to sell it to us.
That's one thing too. Like when it comes, this is so funny every time I think about it because like so I mentioned I'm trying to make a brand, right? I remember I fucking bashed this dude that said he's making his own brand and getting it mainly his stuff from China, and I said some stupid shit like, oh, so you instead of funding white people, you're funding your new oppressor, and I'm like, no, and now I'm thinking about like, no, dumbass. He has nowhere else to go for that.
Exactly.
Because we don't have our own. So that's the only place he can go for mass production.
Yeah.
And that's another thing where we could trade, man. There's a lot of nice cloth coming out of West Africa, out of Ghana, out of Senegal. We can go buy that cloth. Yeah, it's just such a far journey to get it across the sea.
Well, it shouldn't be farther than well, I don't know. Maybe it is.
Well, I mean, there ain't really no trade ships coming back and forth between America and here like China, like what's it called, Alibaba or whatever.
Alibaba.
Yeah, there ain't no African Alibaba. That's a thing right there we could build where Africans could trade on a website.
I think that's the second. Like, I think that's Amazon's competitor, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, there's an African section on Alibaba.
Oh, is there?
You can search by country on Alibaba. So
yeah, that's the cool thing with Alibaba. Yeah, you can search by specific countries and manufacturers. So. But yeah, like even like with the journey, like that you mentioned, right? The far journey. Like you remember you guys will know more than me because you guys are older than me. No offense, but you guys remember the super jets that they used to have? I forgot what they used to call them. I think the hyper jets or some shit. But they were like some super fast airline jets. I forgot what they was originally called though.
The Concorde.
I think so. I think that was I think that was the brand that made them. But there was a specific term that they called those specific jets. But yeah, we could probably fucking get like all the aerodynamic people that's like in aerospace and stuff like that. We could probably bring that back and make it better and make it more safer.
Well, you're speaking of that aerospace, the brother Wodo Maya, you know him?
No.
He's around. He has he's from Ghana, but he does a lot of stuff on Africans in China and stuff. And he's always there. And I'm like, Wodo Maya, get out of China. But he's there because he's an aerospace engineer. And there ain't nowhere in Africa that he could really work besides Ethiopia Airlines. I mean, there ain't really nobody making jets or working on airplanes all like that. So he's over in China, man. Like, if we had a first-class nation that was building stuff, that'd be a contender.
The thing with our nation, right? The thing with our nation is like, even if say we don't have that skill, we're not gonna not have that person either be sent out to learn that skill or have somebody that's an expert within that country come and teach here, like in the nation. So say like we lack a skill in like something, right? That's like pretty that the nation deems as beneficial for our nation. We're not gonna say we're not gonna not send somebody out to that other nation, whether it be European or Asian, to not learn that skill, and then bring it back to then teach other people within the nation that skill. So then we could then start producing. If that makes sense.
Wait, say that one more time.
Am I cutting up?
No, I just couldn't hear it.
Oh no,
on
I'm
my
saying.
side.
Oh, sorry. So I was saying, I'm like, I don't think we would be oblivious to like the idea of sending people within a nation out to other nations to learn a skill, whether it be a European nation or
Oh
Asian
no,
nation.
no, no. Because I was actually thinking about if I was to, let's say, I was to start a car manufacturing company or some along those lines, I would actually be probably putting in grants for people to go to college somewhere else to learn some valuable skills to work on the line or something like that to bring back and teach the other guys how to do it and do something like that. So other countries, the US does it.
Yeah.
Everybody actually does it. So
Here's the shame. Africans, a lot of them are going out and getting educated. They just ain't coming back home.
Yeah,
yeah.
like I think I was hearing something about Nigeria. I think like a lot of the younger kids they go and get the skills, and when some of the ones that do come back, they end up getting depressed and end up killing themselves because like they
Mm.
can't do anything with that skill. They got it for their nation, but there's nowhere for them to then utilize that skill in the nation. So obviously that's not going to happen with ours, but
Yeah, that's definitely a shame. But how long we been on here?
about 2 hours.
Oh
Once
damn,
it's
man.
11:30, that'll be 2 hours.
Damn, all right. Anything else you want to touch on, or you want to keep going, or?
Nah, because I want to eat and then get ready for work tomorrow.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoyed my long break of not being at work, so it's right. Well, the only good thing that this week is a pay week, so we
Yeah,
get
but I
to
say,
see.
brother, as far as you and that help desk, man, keep on it, keep learning stuff, man. I don't know if you do talk to other departments like development or server side guys who are running the server.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I had to help somebody set up a rack, like one of the network
Oh,
dudes
cool.
set up a
Yeah,
rack,
yeah, yeah.
and it was funny because I think he thought I didn't know anything about networking. I'm like, I have my Net Plus. He's like, oh really?
Oh, really?
He
Yeah.
was like, oh yeah. He's like, if you want, I could give you like stuff for your CCNA, and you can learn on that. Because he also set up a switch within our room because the person I replaced, right, he was pretty much doing a multitude of things. Like he was doing some networking stuff and what they call media services.
Mm-hmm.
All he really does is just help people that work on Macs and HPs that do editing for like the TV shows that they make.
Yeah.
So he set up a switch for him to play around with in this so he could practice. But my whole thing is I want to get my security plus first, then get my CCNA. I don't know. That is me. I'm on a schedule. I just want to just stick by. So
Keep, Doug. You're in a good place, man. Just keep at it, and you might be able to slide somewhere else in there. Like where I'm at, I'm still doing help desk, but I wear different hats too. Like I gotta
yeah.
work on the server, all types of more than just help desk, pulling apart logs, troubleshooting software, fixing hardware, stuff like that. But I learned so much more. So now I know the back end. I already knew front end design, like developing a website on the front end. Now I know the back end
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, gain that knowledge, man.
If you guys want, I could definitely because I got a big IT pack, mainly cybersecurity pack. Because there was this thing called Humble Bundle, and it's mainly for gaming, but they do books as well. And it was a big bundle that they gave out. It was $1,500 worth of knowledge for 15 plus bucks. And I got
Hmm.
all these fucking books. I only really got it because I did Security Plus book, like the current one. So I got like Python stuff. I got like hack, like pretty much how to hack on a mobile phone and stuff like that. So I got a bunch of mainly security stuff, but there's also some other stuff, some other essentials as well.
What is it,
So
PDF format?
yeah, it's all books. Yeah, PDF.
All right, yeah, drop that link in the Discord, man. We can
All
always
right,
use
I'll
that.
just I'll put the link to the drive, to
All right,
the
cool.
Google Drive.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys that. Anybody got any closing statements, or does anybody in the chat have any questions that they want to ask? Honestly feel like I've been bored. We've been boring them to death, but apparently they love it. They love
Anybody
what we're
still here
talking
is a definite nerd, yeah.
about.
But yeah, I'll say one little thing. Just like I reiterate this, 2019. Let's just make the message clear, man. We ain't coming to kick no one out. We ain't coming in to kill people. We ain't coming in to mass slaughter. Rule number one, trying to stop getting our asses kicked here. Rule number two, we want to be a part of building Africa up. And in return, we just want a little small little city where it's an easy entry. where I could just go there, I can apply, and I get citizenship. I ain't gotta work years. I ain't gotta lease the land for 100 years, and then my grandkids is screwed. I can go there, easy access. That's what I want. And if any African that wants to be a part of that nation too, that wants to be a part of my culture, which is African culture, rap is African culture, R&B is African culture, all that is African culture. That's where it comes from, and that's where it needs to go back to. If you want to be a part of that, join the BAIO, and we can do it together.
That was a great closing statement.
Deontay said he got a question.
He said apparently we already answered it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I guess he wanted the information on like more information on tech. I guess it's to get him started.
Yeah.
But Complex, you got anything you want to say?
Well, Logo said it all. So all I'm going to say is just get the money, come to Africa with some money, and let's get the job done.
For me, I'll tie it back to the whole title of the show. If you have kids, get them in the STEM. If you yourself don't have necessarily a skill, but you see either science, technology, economics, or math. Well, I would even have change the M for military as well. Do it. There's pretty much no time limit on learning technology. Honestly, you can jump right in, and I can say that because in my trade school, there was somebody that the oldest person in there was like 45, and he got certified for both his A+ and Net+. So you can do it. All of you guys can do it. There's no reason why we don't have necessary skills, especially as long as we've been in this country. Like we should all be masters at any kind of skill, honestly, at building, tech, science, all of that. You know what skill that I do see a lot of us being mastering, and it's fucking annoying? Scholarly.
Negroes are philosophers.
That I'm not understanding. I'm like, everybody wants to be a fucking scholar. I was like, that's cool and all, but can you fucking what is it? How does it going to build a nation? Yeah, like you're going to be a librarian?
Yeah, it ain't going towards nothing. It ain't going towards nothing. Like the Chinese scholars, they built the way for China. Our scholars ain't doing nothing but asking for to buy their book or something.
Buy my DVD or pay for a ticket for this debate.
I'm tired of seeing Negroes argue. I don't want to see no more Negroes arguing. I've seen enough, man.
Like that's what Hollow's like. He doesn't want to do it, but we may have to start debating some people because it's like this is getting out of hand now. Like, it's like what is y'all end game?
I think we can debate people and we could do it. I think our main goal it should always be not necessarily the person, but to bring the audience to our side. And I know Holland says he don't want everybody in it, but I'm like the Borg, man. To get this thing accomplished, I want everybody to be assimilated because it's going to take a lot of people pressing the issue.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna do my part on Instagram. I'm gonna be there. People gonna get annoyed, but I don't give a fuck. Like even with the guy earlier, right? I said like, what? All right. I said, all right. So we're gonna fight the people that killed. We're gonna kill. We're gonna kill the person that killed her son or daughter, right? And then what? Like, what's the end game? This man goes and says, "Forget the end game. We need to start the game." I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Emotional. That's we gotta be. That's one thing where the philosophy ain't coming in. You gotta understand black people, man. We are emotional.
Yes.
I mean, I got my emotions in control for the most part, but I'm emotional, man. It don't take much to piss me off. It don't take much to make us happy. That's the truth about it.
Maybe we should sit those people down and let them play a game called Total War, and let them
wait, you're definitely a nerd because I love Total War.
Let's see how far they get with all their troops.
I love Total War, yo.
They gonna spend all their money on military.
Oh, I don't think that.
That's what I meant to say earlier about the military. So the same guy, right? He said these people had a application for making their own military. That once he said that, right, I didn't even want to. I started laughing, right, and then he says that he mentions how it was mainly women that was doing it, and then he started talking about the atrazine that's in the water making men feminine, all this other shit, right? And I'm like in my head, You really think that the United States government is going to allow you to create your own military within the country?
So there was an app going around, and they were going to make a military on the app. Like you sign up for the pro
Yeah, it
black
was an
military.
applicant. Yes. I'm like, are y'all fucking retarded? You know how quickly that's going to get shut down? Yo, y'all are insane, son.
What's up, Kofi? That's my dude.
Yo,
right
what's
there.
good, Kofi? I haven't seen him since the meetup. And I was like, I think in the summertime. Happy New Year's, bro. I don't know if you missed the whole live stream, but it's gonna stay up, so you don't have to worry about that. Or I'll see, because this is my first time ever like really doing a hangout live stream, so I don't know. I'll see what options they give me. But all right, guys, that's been it for tonight. For future streams, I've been putting in the chat. Because I made another. I have a third Gmail account. I did that for like all my pro black stuff. So I fully just made it into an actual channel for like future streams like this, or future STEM streams or anything of the nature. So subscribe to STEM and Nationhood. That's the channel, STEM and Nationhood. And I'll put it in the chat for guys that missed it.
Drop that drop that in the chat. Complex Sin, man. You don't want it with me in Total War, bro. You don't want it.
Come on, man. I got my no date warriors ready.
All right, man. We can find out who the Shogun is, dog. We can do it.
And
let me just get my PC built real fast.
And for Instagram, my Instagram on IG is Ubuntu .BAIO. I mean, let me check just to be sure, because I might have put underscore. I think it was period. Yes, this is the period. It's Ubuntu .BAIO. I'll put that in the chat too.
Yeah, you all can always find me on the BAIO, Bradley Bailey. Government name is simple.
I gotta be more active on the Ning site.
I'm always looking every day.
Yeah, I just actually I know we got a couple web designers in the BAO. I was just talking to Holub about that. 2019, we're gonna do some updates to the BAO site and get.
Yeah, I could probably do some too, because I took a Python alumni course at my trade school, and there she taught us some CCS stuff.
Yeah.
So some CSS, that's a CCS, CSS stuff, and HTTPS. So
we got some stuff cracking for the future, but y'all have a good 2019, and let's spread the message this year.
Yeah, man.
Peace.
Same here. All right, guys. Peace.